This is where we share channel topic, e.g., biblical knowledge, hidden truths, historical analysis. Let's explore fascinating and meaningful insights in every video.
Did you know that there's an ancient book that reveals secrets about fallen angels so dark that it was banned from the Bible? The Book of Enoch exposes hidden stories about angels who defied God, entered the human world, and wreaked havoc on humanity. While many Christians are unfamiliar with this mysterious text, it has been studied for centuries by theologians, mystics, and scholars who believe it contains dangerous truths about the spiritual realm. Why was this book excluded from the Bible? What secrets about fallen angels does it reveal, and why should we care today? Get ready to dive deep into the Book of Enoch and uncover the disturbing details about fallen angels, their interactions with humanity, and the consequences of their rebellion. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why this text remains controversial and how its dark secrets challenge our understanding of angels, demons, and the spiritual world. The Book of Enoch is one of the most fascinating and controversial texts in religious history. While it is not included in the traditional biblical canon used by most Christians today, it has been revered by certain groups throughout history, particularly in early Jewish and Christian communities. The text is believed to have been written sometime between the 3rd century BC and the 1st century AD, and is often attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, who is described in the Bible as a man who walked with God and was taken up into heaven without dying, Genesis 5:24. What makes the Book of Enoch so significant is its detailed account of fallen angels. Angels who defied God's commands, descended to earth, and engaged in forbidden relationships with humans. The book describes how these angels shared forbidden knowledge with humanity, leading to widespread corruption and the eventual punishment of both the angels and their human offspring, the Nephilim, who are described as giants. But why is the Book of Enoch so controversial, and why was it excluded from the Bible? One of the main reasons is that it delves into speculative theology, offering a narrative that diverges from the more familiar biblical accounts of angels and their role in God's creation. The book also presents a darker view of angelic beings, portraying them as capable of immense evil and rebellion. For centuries, religious leaders debated whether this text should be considered inspired scripture. And while it remains an important book for some traditions, such as the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, it was ultimately left out of the official canon of most Christian denominations. Yet, despite its exclusion, the Book of Enoch has continued to influence religious thought, particularly when it comes to our understanding of fallen angels, demons, and the supernatural realm. Let's explore the deeper mysteries within this ancient text and uncover the dark secrets of fallen angels. The Book of Enoch is not without its challenges and controversies. Perhaps the most significant issue is its exclusion from the biblical canon. While the text was revered by some early Christian communities, including the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which still includes it in its canon, other groups were wary of its teachings. By the time the Council of Carthage established the official New Testament canon in AD 397, the Book of Enoch had been largely rejected by the mainstream church. But why? One reason is the speculative and sometimes bizarre nature of the text. It delves deeply into angelology, describing interactions between fallen angels and humans that go far beyond the traditional teachings found in the canonical Bible. The Book of Enoch suggests that the angels didn't just rebel against God in a distant spiritual realm, but that they physically descended to earth, mating with human women and giving birth to the Nephilim, a race of giants that spread corruption across the world. Another issue is the doctrinal implications of the Book of Enoch. Its portrayal of angels as beings who actively defy God's authority and engage in sinful behaviors raises questions about the nature of angelic beings. In the Bible, angels are typically portrayed as either faithful servants of God or fallen angels who followed Satan in rebellion. But in the Book of Enoch, the fallen angels act independently, almost as if they have free will similar to humans, and they impart forbidden knowledge to humanity, leading to catastrophic consequences. These stories about fallen angels sharing occult knowledge such as sorcery, astrology, and weapons of war pose theological challenges. The idea that angels could bring such destructive knowledge to humanity conflicts with traditional views of angels as purely spiritual messengers or warriors. It also suggests that human sinfulness is not entirely the fault of humans, but was influenced by these rebellious angels. This raises further questions about the nature of sin, free will, and divine justice. Ultimately, the Book of Enoch was rejected by many Christian groups because it strayed too far from the accepted narratives of salvation history. But despite this rejection, the text continues to fascinate readers, both for its detailed accounts of angelic beings and for the light it sheds on the spiritual battles that are said to take place beyond our human perception. One of the central themes in the Book of Enoch is the rebellion of the Watchers, a group of angels who were tasked with watching over humanity, but instead chose to sin by taking human wives and teaching forbidden knowledge. These Watchers, often referred to as fallen angels, are described in 1 Enoch, the first section of the Book of Enoch, as corrupting influences who violated divine law. In 1 Enoch 6-11, the text describes how 200 angels, led by an angel named Shemhazai, descended to Mount Hermon. These angels saw and lusted after human women and decided to take them as wives, creating a race of hybrid offspring known as the Nephilim. These Nephilim were not only giants, but also violent and oppressive, spreading wickedness across the earth. The fallen angels, in addition to their forbidden unions with human women, taught humanity various forms of occult knowledge. According to the text, they introduced humans to sorcery, astrology, the use of cosmetics, and the making of weapons. The introduction of these new technologies and practices led to an explosion of sin and violence, eventually prompting God to send the Great Flood as a means of cleansing the earth of its corruption. One of the most compelling aspects of the Book of Enoch is its depiction of the judgment that awaits the fallen angels. After witnessing the devastation caused by the Nephilim and the spread of human wickedness, the archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael and Uriel appeal to God to intervene. God responds by decreeing that the fallen angels will be imprisoned in the depths of the earth until the day of judgment, when they will face eternal punishment. This theme of divine judgment highlights a key message in the Book of Enoch. No being is beyond accountability. Even powerful angels who once stood in the presence of God will face judgment for their rebellion. The Book of Enoch paints a vivid picture of the spiritual consequences of disobedience, not only for humans, but for angels as well. Another fascinating element of the Book of Enoch is the role of Enoch himself. In the biblical account, Enoch is a somewhat mysterious figure who is taken up into heaven without experiencing death. In the Book of Enoch, however, Enoch plays a much larger role as a righteous intercessor who communicates directly with God and the fallen angels. The fallen angels, after realizing the gravity of their sin, beg Enoch to intercede on their behalf, asking him to petition God for mercy. But their pleas fall on deaf ears, and God ultimately rejects their requests for forgiveness. This moment underscores the irreversibility of their rebellion and the severity of their actions. One of the most pivotal moments in the book of Enoch comes in 1 Enoch 15, when God directly addresses the fallen angels through Enoch. In this passage, God lays bare the true nature of the fallen angels and the depth of their corruption. God tells the fallen angels that they were originally created as spiritual beings, immortal and pure, but they chose to corrupt themselves by descending to earth and taking human form. God condemns their actions, declaring that they have defiled themselves with flesh and blood, which was never intended for them. Their punishment is to be bound in chains and cast into the abyss until the final judgment. In this moment, the book of Enoch reveals a dark truth about the nature of these angels. They were beings of immense power and responsibility, but their pride and lust for power led to their downfall. Their story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of rebellion against divine authority and the catastrophic consequences of tampering with the natural order. This pivotal moment also sheds light on the deception of the fallen angels. They presented themselves as benefactors, bringing advanced knowledge to humanity, but their gifts only led to greater destruction and suffering. The book of Enoch suggests that evil often disguises itself as wisdom or progress, but in reality, it leads to devastation. The book of Enoch offers a unique and complex perspective on the nature of fallen angels, their interactions with humanity, and the consequences of their rebellion. Though it was excluded from the official biblical canon, its teachings have continued to influence religious thought, particularly in the areas of angelology, demonology, and theodicy. The dark secrets revealed in the book of Enoch challenge traditional views of angels as purely obedient messengers of God, showing instead that they, too, can fall into sin and rebellion. The text paints a vivid picture of the spiritual battle between good and evil, not just in the human realm, but in the cosmic order as well. For those interested in exploring the spiritual realm, the Book of Enoch provides valuable insights into the nature of angels, the consequences of sin, and the justice of God. It encourages us to reflect on the importance of obedience to divine authority and the dangers of pursuing forbidden knowledge. What do you think about the Book of Enoch and its revelations about fallen angels? Do you believe its teachings should have been included in the Bible, or do they raise more questions than answers? Comment below with your thoughts. And don't forget to check out our next video where we dive into the mysteries of the Nephilim and their role in ancient history. Subscribe for more deep dives into biblical mysteries and spiritual insights.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. Your support helps the channel grow and brings more exciting insights to you. Thank you for watching.